All right, guys, today we're going to do lesson 55. So in front of you, you should have your workbook, a pencil, ready to rock and roll. If you look at part 1 on lesson 55, you're going to see some division problems. So right now I want you to pause and I want you to work on the part 1 division problems. All right, you should have those division problems complete. So I'm going to read straight across the top row. 10 divided by 2 is 5, 8 divided by 2 is 4, 6 divided by 3 is 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. The next row, starting with G, 8 divided by 2 equals 4, 8 divided by 4 equals 2, 2 divided by 2 equals 1, 4 divided by 2 equals 2. K, 6 divided by 2 equals 3, L, 10 divided by 2 equals 5. And the last row, 20 divided by 5 is 4, 25 divided by 5 is 5, 10 divided by 5 is 2, 15 divided by 5 is 3, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 20 divided by 4 equals 5. All right, circle any that you have wrong. Take a look at my screen here. I have 3 different times listed, and I want you to read these times. So I'm going to read the first one to you, and then I want you to read the next ones to me. So the first one, we read the hours first, and then the minutes. It is separated by a colon. So 12:03 would be the time. How about this one? What time is this? You should have said 9:01, and this one, 5:08. Okay, in your I don't know if this is in the textbook or the workbook. I'm going to wait on that one. I want you to look at this screen for me. Okay, this is the textbook, so slide past that. Okay, look at these 2 fractions. We know now from our lessons that adding and subtracting fractions, you have to have a common or the same denominator, which is the bottom number. So look at these 2 fractions. This is 6/3 plus 2/3. Do they have a common denominator? Yes, they do. If they have a common denominator, all you have to do is add the numerators and the denominator stays the same. So what would 6/3 plus 2/3 equal? You should have said 8/3 because 6 plus 2 is 8 and the 3's stay the same. Remember, you're talking about thirds. Your answer has to be shown in thirds when it comes to adding and subtracting. Try this one. Do these 2 fractions have a common denominator? Yes, they do. That common denominator is 6. That means we can add the numerators together and the denominator stays the same. So take a minute and tell me what 4/6 plus 9/6 would be. If you said 13/6, you are correct. Now, this is an improper fraction, the answer, and I would be requiring you to put that in a mixed number form, which is something, that we have started to talk about a little bit. So just know that this would not be an acceptable answer moving forward. However, 13/6 is the same as 2 and 1/6. So I would require the 2 and 1/6. How about this one? Do they have common denominators? Yes, they do, of 8. That means we can add the numerators and keep the denominator the same. So 2/8 plus 7/8 is how much? You should have said 9/8. Again, 9/8 is an improper fraction, so I would be requiring you to put that in mixed number form. Okay, I'm going to skip the next textbook part for now. This is something new that we're going to be talking about a little bit as we get into geometry and different types of measurement, okay? And one of the things you're going to have to know, not only for the PSSA or for the iReady diagnostic, but also for life, is how to read a graphic or a type of map. So in this case, we have a map, and what I notice about it is that there are different towns, little groups of houses, and I see town A, B, C, D, and E. I also see these numbers here in between. I don't know what they mean for sure, but I'm going to assume that that is the distance between each of these towns. So we're going to look at this map and we're going to answer some questions. Okay, There are 3 routes you can take to go from town B to town A. Okay, it says there are 3 routes you can take. Okay, from B, so I notice that's right here, to A. It says, I'll show you the longest route. Okay, you're going to go from B all the way up to D, to E, to C, to A. That would be the longest way. Like, taking the long way around, that would be the long part. Okay, that's the longest way. If you take the shortest way from B to A, you are literally going, remember they always say the saying, the fastest way to get there between 2 points is a straight line? Boop. That would be the fastest way. Okay, the third way is instead of going all the way out around or going straight there, you can kind of jump to town C and then to town A. Okay, again, there's nothing like amazing revelation about this other than we need to start looking at graphics and maps and graphs and things that they give us and just understanding what they're asking us to do. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit more of that as we go. All right, I'm going to skip that textbook part for now as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about number families, so let me skip around here. A little bit more. Okay. This is a number family. We've talked a little bit about this. A number family is typically 3 numbers, and you can use different math operations within those 3 numbers. So looking at this is a multiplication problem. If I were to read this, I would read it as 5 groups of 2 equals 10. Who can give me the commutative property, which means switching the numbers? Instead of 5 times 2 equals 10, we would say 2 times 5 equals 10. Remember, multiplication is commutative. That means you can switch the order, and the answer is still the same. Can you turn this into 2 division problems? Give me one. I probably would have said 10 divided by 5 is 2. What's the other one? 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Okay, we just need to understand that multiplication and division, you can write the problems in different ways, and they're all part of a fact family, a unit of 4. Okay, same as when we did fact families for addition and subtraction. Okie dokie. You will have some independent work in your workbook. I'm going to go over some textbook stuff with you first before you do that. So just remember, at the end of the video, you'll be required to do the independent workbook stuff. So let me pause for a second. I'm going to pull up the textbook. All right, we're back in action here. I got my textbook up. Again, we don't use the textbook a ton in class because they're activities that we do together. But I don't have enough textbooks for everybody. So I'm going to project this and we're going to talk about it a little bit. So part 1 in the textbook focuses on the skill of telling time. Now we have talked about this in previous lessons. We know that the small hand is the hour hand. We know the big hand is the minute hand. We know that when we are talking about the small hour hand, if it falls between 2 numbers, we always have to go back because we haven't reached the next hour yet. And we know that the minute hands, we can count by groups of 5 and then by little bits of 1 to get to where we need for the minute. So I want you to take a look. I'm going to have you just pause for a second, pause the video, and I want you to write down the 4 times that you see. And you can write it somewhere in your workbook on a separate piece of paper. Just A is this time, B is this time, C is this time, and D is whatever time it is, okay? So pause and do A, B, C, D. Okay, you guys should be done with that by now. Let's take a look at A. If you notice, this is the hour hand right here on 8, so it is 8 o'clock. Now let's do the minutes. Starting at 12, we're counting by 5s. 5, 10. We can't have another group, so let's count by 1s. 11, 12. So this should be 8, 12. B, we still have our hour hand on 8 o'clock. Now we're going to count by groups of 5 for the minutes. 5, 10. This is 8, 10. C, the hour hand is between 7 and 6. So again, when it's between, we have to go back to the previous hour. So we're still in the 6 o'clock hour. Now let's count the minutes. Starting at 12, we're counting by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It is 6:25. And D, again, we're between the 6 and 7, so we go back to the 6. Let's count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and we are one more, so one more after 25 is 26. So this would be 626. Okay? All right, this is the part where you guys are going to stop. You're going to do the independent workbook parts. When you're done, you can put your book back in the bin, and I can check them at another time, but you are finishing lesson 55, all of the workbook parts. All right, good job today, guys.